Hey everybody, it's Chris, and welcome to Anime Debate. Now this week we are not debating two anime head to head. If you want to see that, go check out last week's episode where I put Dragon Ball Z versus Naruto or other videos all up in that playlist. Go check it out, guys. There's a link in the description and a card coming up right now. But this week's episode will discuss a topic of an anime that I recently got into that's been around for ages, called Gurren Lagann. Now, I don't know if I'm saying that right. I've always pronounced everything wrong my entire life, so if I'm doing it, let me know down below. But let's discuss whether or not Gurren Lagann is a good anime. So what is Gurren Lagann about? Now, it is the coming of age story of a hero and him becoming a man and learning what it truly means to be a hero. Now, you get Kamina and you get Simo. They are two brothers. They're on two different sides of the coin. Kamina is very brash, he's very braggadocious, and honestly, he is absolutely lovable. I have not loved the character this much since the protagonist in Steins Gate. I'm not kidding. This guy is so awesome. You want to just see him win. He gives great speeches and big monologues, and he really just makes the show fun to watch. Then you got Simon, who's a little bit of a whiner. He's in the tradition of many of those characters that just show up in the show and go, I don't want to do it. No, why? Oh, let's hold back. Let's not try. Like, he's that kind of character. And at times you're like, man, would you shut up and just let your brother take the spotlight? Would you just let him do that? But then there are parts where you see his heart, you see where he's really coming from, you see that he's just a kid. You see that he's afraid because he's never really been on any grand adventures before, and he's just afraid to really put himself out there. Then you get a character introduced called Yoko, who everyone freaking loves for two very obvious reasons. Her heart and her beautiful face. But you guys know what I'm saying. She is the fan service of the show, but she's also a bit of a badass and brings a little bit of, I'd say, a tiny bit of rivalry between the brothers, but it's not even like a real rivalry, just kind of a little bit of jealousy. But it's okay because she herself is an amazing character, and I believe any man will be worthy to battle for that booty. I mean, I'm sorry, I just love the way these characters interact with each other. I love the way they all do a little bit of a dance. I love the build up. I love how they really do message your emotions, and they do it in a way that is extremely vital to getting you engaged in this story. Now, once again, I said earlier, once you reach a certain episode, you get a little bit frustrated because you're like, no, how could this happen? How could they do this? But it all pays off in the end. And at the very beginning, you actually go back and look at the show, you realize that they were like leading up to this all along. You thought they were saying one thing, but they were saying something else entirely different. Now, in the show, these characters are battling against these things called the Beastmen, and they're also going up against a thing, I believe, called the Commission, and they are freaking fearsome foes, but also really funny. I've never seen a show where I actually really like the villain. Like, I actually really enjoyed the villains that came a part of this journey, and I want to see them continue on their plundering and their battling and everything that comes along with it, because they are fun to watch. They are also kind of scary, and at the same time, they make you more and more engaged in the story. Now, let's go in some more elements here into the review. Let's talk about the animation. Now, the animation, I'll tell you, is good and then bad at the same time. Now, it's that old school animation we're used to from the 90s, and it works really well, but at times it gets way too close up, and you see too many details, and you're like, all right, what is this? This is not the way this should go. I'm not really feeling this. But then again, in other points, it works at another point. Now let's get into the animation. So the animation is really good. It holds up, but at the same time, it shows its age. I don't even know how to explain it any better. Like, you can see it and it just goes, wow, this is beautiful. But you can definitely tell that it's from the 90s. And it works. They play around with different like emotions. They play around with different like comedy styles. They do all this different stuff that just works. It's very much in the tradition what they do right now with Mob 100, where they just get really experimental every now and again. But it still feels fluid. It still feels complete. And every single person who is drawn in the show looks great. Now, let's get into the music. The music is very underplayed in this show, but it is very good. It's not your traditional, like, bop, 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 you know, your big, loud themes. It's very understated in the background and interwoven behind the scenes, but there's a lot of little bit of, I hear, like, jazz in there, I hear horns, I hear your traditional, like, you know, anime music, but it's just not blown in your face. And I like it because it shows you that it's not the center stage of the show. What is the center stage of the show is the characters, their interactions, and once and again, the comedy. This show is hilarious, it's funny, and it works, and it doesn't need the music to carry along the story, which normally other anime use that as a crutch, rather, and this show does not. And I'll tell you, it is worth it. It becomes one of the best anime I have ever seen, and I have to now say that it stands within my top 5. And that's hard to penetrate. My top 5 has been the same for years. You want to hear about that later, we'll do a video. But I want to rest of my laurels and tell you that ultimately, Gurren Lagann is a good anime and definitely worth your time. You need to go watch it. Go check it out. It is worth every single second you spend on it. And if you are like me and you get heartbroken when a certain thing happens, it's okay. It's normal. It's designed that way. Let me know down below what you want to see me compare this to next week. I will take Gurren Lagann and put it head to head with some shonen, but you gotta let me know which one down below in the comments. Also, let me know how you feel about this show in general and how you feel about the event I'm talking about. Yes, I'm saying that right now because that means there will be spoilers down in the comments, so be careful. You have been warned. This has been Chris with Anime Debate. Please come back next week and watch more anime-related videos and watch last week's video on Dragon Ball Z versus Naruto if you want to see my take on those two shows going head to head. If you're also curious, I did Berserk versus Berserk. You can dig into that too. And if that's not your fancy, I got another channel called Csandreas where I talk about all kinds of nerdy stuff like Pokemon and TV shows. Thanks a lot, guys, and have a great day.